how's everything going in the Red Method camp right now?
Swimmingly, man. It's everything is going to plan for once in our lives. We've got everyone playing their position really well, I have to say. Our album is coming out on the 28th.
Of course.
And we're going on the road real soon, man. We're really fucking excited, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're within a week now, 1 week from today, in fact, till the release of For the Sick. That's got to be an incredible feeling, considering it's been a while.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been mounting up for a couple of years at least, but it's finally here, and it's next week where we release the album, and we got our launch show in Kingston. Then, like Alex said, shortly after that, we're on the road for nearly the whole of March and April. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you, bro.
Cool.
So, I mean, it's come up before, kind of almost every time you end up talking about it, but what's kind of taken you so long to get to this stage? So, you know, you've been an active band. It's not like you've been sitting around doing nothing. You've been out, you've been playing and working and so on. Yet, For the Sick, it's taken a while.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's taken a while. We've been releasing a track a month till a couple of months ago. We wanted to spread it out, to be honest. We wanted to spread awareness. We didn't want to just out an album and, you know, who are these guys? And we wanted to get to know people, tour, get some kind of profile, you know, get some videos up, you know, something people can look at. You know, if they search for us online, there's like 5 videos they can check out. Do we have 5 videos now, Jeremy? How many do we have? I can't remember.
Yeah, 5. Yeah, 5 is going to be 6 with a single release next week, hopefully, with the Ideology of the Sick.
Yeah. So it's been on. We've done this on purpose. We've been ready for a while, but it's just been. I don't know. We decided to do it a different way this time. The way people consume music these days is not very album friendly. So we thought we'd, you know, keep people's attention by giving them a track. They like their track, put it in their playlist or whatever they do these days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a big discussion. Jeremy really was against putting it out track by track because he was really tied to the album the way it was. You know, all the imagery and the meanings behind the tunes and the way it flows in one tune into the other. But unfortunately, that's not the way people consume music anymore. So we are, you know, we're rolling with the times, man. Yeah. And we're putting out some singles. And now, you know, for the people that want to hear what the piece of art is supposed to sound like, the album's coming out on the 28th.
Well, you're absolutely right. It makes such sense because we always end up talking about in interviews about how YouTube and streaming has changed the entire game, and metal has always been very much a album, couple of years album. Maybe you might get an EP in between, but you certainly don't get 4 or 5 singles from an album like you do in every other genre.
Yeah.
I think you know, Alex came with this brilliant idea, which at the beginning I was like, "What? No, we cannot release everything like this. This is gonna kill us." But you know, and then we started to look at it from a different point of view, and we saw, why not just basically release as many singles? It's a new band, you know, people will get to know us a bit better like that, and we spread the word throughout the last, 12 months, I guess, just releasing single by single by single. Yeah, it's been hard work and it's been absolutely mad. You know, we haven't stopped, but we have jumped. I think we've cut corners, I guess, in all angles and all aspects, and it's really worked in our favor. And it's been a brilliant idea, and we love it. And we still got obviously the album coming out. There's definitely worked there, absolutely. But yeah, like I think it's a new way of looking at things
Yeah.
and going with the times, you know, because lots of bands, what happen is they release the whole album, I guess, all at once, and then they do a single or two at the end, and then that's it. You know, they've lost nearly, you know, the whole entirety of the whole album, just lost, you know, gone. And if it's not for those, I don't know, fans that buy the album, the rest of the material is kind of lost, you know,
Yeah.
to a certain degree, because, you know, not everybody's going to check out every single song that you've got in the album, I guess.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. The sitting down and invest 40, 45 minutes, however long it is, for an album, it's not quite how it used to be.
No.
Yeah.
I used to just sit there reading the lyrics and looking at the artwork, and it was a whole thing, you know what I mean, to me. But there's many people now that will just hear a song and they're really happy with knowing one song of one band, and they don't even venture to see if this band has any other good songs. They're just like, I'm good with that one song. That's it. I'm done.
Move on straight to the next thing.
Yeah. Well, what can you do, man?
Well, you do how you're doing. And as I say, it hasn't done you any harming in, I guess, moving yourself away from the whole ex-members of this band and actually this is now Red Method. Let's avoid, well, not avoid, but get away from those associations. Yeah.
It got a bit old for us, to be honest. Like, talking about our ex-bands, and it's like, can we not be one of these fucking bands? Because I remember when I was a fan, and it was like, oh, the guy from that and that put a band together, and like, oh, nice try, buddy. You know what I mean? But this is actually a real thing, and everything comes from the soul. And I mean, I posted a picture yesterday, actually, of Jeremy and me and like a bunch of other dudes, 2009, just hanging out and stuff. So it's very organic, the way this band came around. So it's its own thing. And thank you for bringing that up, to be honest.
So the album's heavily themed about mental health. What inspired this particular direction you wanted to, or this writing?
Clean it.
Well, one second.
No worries.
Mental, I think, you know, it's kind of, the album speaks by itself, really. You know, it's got, the album touches on a lot of mental health issues and topics. As you can see, we got songs of, one of them called My Psychosis, which is just a game playing between me and my ex-boss of just kind of humiliation and defamation of character towards different members of staff in a place of work. Then you got Split, which is double personality and multiple personality disorder. The narcissist prayer as well speaks by itself. And you got The Absent, which is obviously dementia, and I'm just talking about the terrible disease, as we know, called Alzheimer. It is quite real, and the topics are quite real. I guess we are a band that we talk about real things and day-to-day life issues, you know, and really deep stuff, really deep meanings and deep stuff that we deal with day to day, you know. We're not a fantasy band where we talk about axes and dragon and all that bollocks, to be honest.
To put it in context, Jeremy works at can I say this, Jeremy? Is that cool? If I,
of course, man.
He works with troubled youths.
Okay.
And I think he was very inspired by those experiences. And he had a family member, two family members tragically die from dementia. And so they are, you know, he's being reluctant to tell you, but it's actually from real events, Like a diary of a madman.
It is, yeah.
Well, it's an important topic, and one that's particularly becoming more prevalent within our genre. Well, music in general, particularly over the last couple of years, with the loss of some obviously large names, which kind of really put it in the public side, the general public, as much as anything else. So,
yeah.
is there any particular track then of the album that to you, because of either what its meaning is or what you were going through when you wrote it, that means the most to you?
I think they all have a really deep meaning, really. You know, we've got another one called Idrel, which is the suicide of a very close friend, of an ex-band member. That's also, you know, that one I think was the hardest one because it took me about 18 years to be able to write a song about him, because I just couldn't get to grip to terms how hard it was, and put that message across in a song. I just couldn't. It did. You know, I always wanted to write it, and I always lived with it, and it was part of my life. And you know, he really had this big scar, left a big scar in my life when I was 15 only. You know, when he did what he did, and I just couldn't get to do it never. And I think that one was the hardest one. It was, you know, dripping with emotions, and I was very close to that person. It was really hard, you know. The lyrics were kind of very, very strong, you know. When I was recording it, you know, it was very intense. You know, those moments where, you know, I had to stop and get my breath, you know, come back to terms with things, because my mind used to go off on things. And it was a journey. It was definitely a journey.
I'm glad you kind of put it that way, because to me, it's clear that across all the songs, you're giving it your all here. It's very much like listening to the album. It's like, wow, you're giving in so much here, as if it's the last thing you're ever going to do. Which, of course, hopefully it isn't. But was that, I guess, well, I wouldn't say the plan, but I guess you always wanted to throw your all into it.
Yeah, I guess so, Alex. Don't you think so? I think we just put everything we had in, every last drop of energy into it. I think our producer Scott as well really squeezed the life out of us, you know. And he's a very extreme producer. He won't take anything for any no for an answer, you know. He will make you do the best of it, and he will make you do it 1,000 times and get the best out from me. I think he really did, you know, shine through as a producer, making it the last take, make it the best one, and he is known for that, you know. And I think I'm glad that you said that as well, because we really focused on that, you know, making that take the best take, you know, and making it the last one, basically. If it was the last take you could possibly do,
it really comes across, incredibly done.
Yeah, I think it's really, you know, it's quite nice that you've actually realized that, because we really was based. He used to tell me, "This is your last take you'll ever do. Make it the best one," you know, and do it again and do it again, and then, you know, until you really get that last one where just it was that little bit different, that was the right take, you know what I mean? It wasn't a killer take, it was the right take for the right time, for the right part of the music. And I think that makes For the Sick quite special, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that's how we are approaching the whole release of this, the band, everything. Like Jeremy and I have had this conversation, like, this is it, man. We're not going to do this again, you know what I mean? And this is, as you said before, we didn't want to be some like wishy-washy version of someone we used to be. This is like for real, and it's going to be raw, and it's going to be what it is, you know? And we're not going to do anything half-assed,
Yeah, because everything about Red Method seems to embody a tantalizing, strange experience. It's almost like just looking at you without hearing a sound. You look at a promotional picture, and it's an incredible look. And then you hear you, and it's the combination of this, give it at all, plus that. It seems like you're living and breathing this every single day, which exactly, I guess must be the case.
Yeah, you're right. You need to live it and you need to breathe it. If you're not doing that, you shouldn't be in a band, really. I personally think, you know, you could be in a band, but you need to be in a right band to be able to breathe it and live it and make it real. You know, it needs to be real. It needs to come from a real place. If not, what's the point of doing it, really? I guess.
And I think consumers are more savvy than ever now. They can tell when something's not real. Like if you're just pretending to be cool or whatever, right? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like they'll know.
They'll
I guess.
I think, what Alex is saying is, I've been over the past years, I've always been a huge fan of metal, and I still am. But over the years, I've lost a bit of interest, and I think it's because I know what's, it's very, there's 1,000 billion bands which are amazing. Technically, everything's amazing, but they're not living it, they're not breathing it, and they're not real. The passion and that attitude is missing, and it's all very kind of, I don't know, it's kind of all to a certain standard. Everything's like kind of oversaturated.
Yeah.
Everything sounds.
I'll tell you a little story about us. I'll tell you, we were in Vigo, and they must have thought we were fucking mental cases, man. We were sound checking, and it was a very intense tour. And we got into a fight on stage, all of us, we all wanted to be right, and we're screaming at each other and this and that. I guess the promoter was like, are these motherfuckers gonna even play today? You know what I mean? And we played, and out of that anger and out of that, fuck you, no, fuck you. We went on stage, man. And I think we played one of the best gigs we've ever played, to be honest, so but what you see on stage is not some kind of fake, these are the moves, this is the thing, you know what I mean? It's, we're doing it. We're doing it.
We're doing this right.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
All right, guys, got a couple more for you and then let you go. Nirvana's Heart-Shaped Box. Would give us some insight into that one?
Yeah.
You tell us what you think about that, because you have a little smile on your face. Okay, fine, don't tell us. Go on, Jeremy, tell him.
Sorry, I think the line was cut. The line cut off a little bit. What was the question about
Heart-Shaped Box? Tell us a bit about that.
Okay, I think Heart-Shaped Box was a song that I think really fit. Was a song that obviously I personally carried from a childhood boy all the way into my adult life, and I think because it was so related in terms of mental health and the meaning behind the song and the meaning behind our songs, that I think it could fit nicely. It was going to fit perfectly into For the Sick.
Yep. And
I think we really shaped and sculpted the song in such a way to make it, give it its own identity and give it its own kind of living cell that was going to really be part of this album For the Sick. I think we all share a common song. I think it's a song that we all love it, that we all love since we were young. We all, feel that song has a right melody, is a very poppy kind of commercial song, very groovy, but it's dripping with emotion at the same time. And we all love that song, and I think we wanted it. We wanted to work with it. And
it's not an easy song to cover, to be honest. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because if you tell someone I'm covering Heart-Shaped Box, they're like, what the fuck? Right. You know what I mean? So
it was...
Yeah.
When I looked at the track list and I saw Heart-Shaped Box, I thought, nah, that's probably not a cover. Because it wasn't listed as a cover. It was just the title of the song. So I was like, that's probably just an extra song. So when I got to it and obviously recognised it. And it's funny, you talk about childhood, but the album, The In Utero, was the second album I ever bought when I moved to this country. So that song's got a lot of meaning for me too. So for me personally, it was great to hear it on there.
Oh, nice. And it was Kurt Cobain's birthday yesterday, so
amazing. Yeah, it was. Yeah, and I think the whole kind of concept behind how Kurt Cobain used to portray his art and his artwork and his meaning behind behind his art with the Embros, and I think there's a bit of a relationship with what we do with in terms of our meaning behind our logo and our emblems, which represent the brain, which is useful to understand how to kind of understand what Red Method is, which is if you look at the emblems that we've got, is like kind of it represents the spine, which is also the wrist and the palm of the brainstem, which is the limbic area, which work together to regulate arousal of emotions, which is what Alex was saying before. It's a freeze or fight response. So in our case, obviously we go straight to the fight, and Red Method is kind of that fight kind of regulator, which we don't have any kind of in between. We just basically hit red.
Yeah.
We see red. We go into. There's links. There's links. You know what I mean? Where obviously, I think I've gone off on one maybe. But
oh, you're good, man.
Kind of,
we see fucking red, and we go on stage, and that's what you get to see, man. Kicking ass, man. We might hurt ourselves for you as well.
No, it's such an incredible summation. I mean, even before the album, I'm familiar with you guys' work from Bloodstock just gone by, so that was the first ever Red Method experience for me, and it left an impression.
Oh, nice,
a good impression.
Okay. Shit, I took it as a positive, and then I was like, a good one. Oh, shit.
So, 2020, this is the year, right, of Red Method, right? The album's 28th of February, but that's just the start, right?
Most definitely, man. As we said, we're scratching and clawing for every inch we're getting. And going on tour. We're already writing a new album. So, yeah, there's no stopping us. We're booking gigs all the time. We're going to Europe. Well, I mean, anything. We'll take anything, man. We're not too good for anything,
Well,
we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it all, man. Because even from experiences in the past, man, turning down things and thinking you're too cool for this and that—that's fucking bullshit, man. And I think we're better people now, and we're ready for 2020, man. We're gonna give it all.
Well, the last thing then, guys, it is an incredible release. I just want to tell you that, having heard it myself and written a review, which goes up on our site next week, it's bloody brilliant.
Thank you, man.
And one worthy of the slow drip read, because hearing everything in one complete package, it has a very different impression while still being familiar with those tracks. Are you, though, satisfied with what you've accomplished here?
Yeah, I mean, to considering where we were when that album was recorded, yes, I was very, very satisfied. I think there's going to be much more potential for us now that we're writing new material as where we are now with people in the band and where we are working with certain individuals in the band. I think. There's going to be much more freedom. There's going to be much more experimentation. There's going to be, it's a bigger identity. This album was just I think it's serving its purpose to establish the band.
Yep.
You get to know. I think the next thing will be a bigger level where Red Method is
going to blow your socks off.
And I think we are writing songs already, and I must tell you they are fucking gonna be insane, and it is a next level step for Red Method 100%. And I think we're very happy. We're very extremely happy. I think it's gonna serve its purpose, and it will establish the band 100% with what we've done. And there's big room for improvement for the next one.
Perfect. Guys, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. Good luck with the next week. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/GBHBL, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?